all sorts of fun today. We have got a great guest with us today. She joins us live here on our big program, and she is joining us via the magic of Skype. And go ahead and give me a brief introduction on yourself, my friend. Tell us a bit about yourself.
What's up? It's me, Irja, thesexypsycho.com. That's where you can find all my stuff. Let's get it. Entrepreneur, mogul, artist, female empowerment. That's what I am.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So how did you start doing what you do?
I've been doing it for a long time. My entire life I've been doing music. My entire life. I started because I was really poor and my imagination is all we had growing up. So I used to write songs with my little sister, and I inherited a flute, so I learned how to read and write sheet music. I mean, we didn't have anything, so my escape was music. Yeah. So and I just continued to expand upon that.
Wow, that is pretty badass. You come highly recommended. I have got all sorts of people that have wanted you to be on this show, and so tell us a little bit about, besides your I think that's amazing with the sheet music and all that. I think that's amazing. Tell us a little bit more about your musical background.
So like I said, I've been singing. My first memory of literally ever is me singing on stage at my aunt's wedding. So that's like literally my first memory is me having a microphone in my hands. And I would always sing and make up songs with my little sister. And we saved up like quarters and pennies and stuff off the ground and saved up for a Top Girl. I don't know if you remember those, but they're the cassette things where you can like actually record stuff on them.
Yes.
So that's how we would record our songs. And we'd like make up like dance videos. Like, oh, if we were on MTV, the video would look like this. And so I always knew I wanted to do music, and my family was like, that's not a real career, blah, blah, blah. So it was really hard for me because I felt torn, like really my whole life, but I knew music is what I wanted to do. When I was 16, well, the first time 15, I got kicked out of my house, and then finally for good at 16, and I started trapping and dancing at 16 years old. So I was in the streets very hard. I was in the strip club, fully liquor, fully nude club at 16. And so my whole life just revolved around music. And I really just wanted to make enough money to make it in the music industry. But obviously, you know, when you're not from the industry, you don't have connections in the industry, your family's not in the industry, it's hard. And I had no idea, like, the whirlwind that I was about to embark on, to be honest. So you know, back and forth, had some really messed up situations with managers, and really I would call them pimps. But that's sadly, that's not an uncommon occurrence for women in the industry, and nobody even knows they're going through it. Like, you can look at these women and you have no clue what they're going through in their, you know, in the behind the scenes of their life. They have zero control over their life. That's not just women, that's, you know, men too, but I was in a different level of that. I was in a very street level, a very abusive level of that. And I finally got to get out of that and fix my life, get sober. And that's when my music really changed. I started doing music really deeply and exploring myself. And my music is therapy, not only for myself, but I do it to show other people that if I can get through shit, that they can get through it too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have got a fabulous guest with us today. By the way, check out the website, thesexypsycho.com. That is www.thesexypsycho.com. By the way, your website is amazing. Whoever the hell put that together, they did a heck of a job, because we have a lot of musicians on this show, and a lot of their websites, they need
You're
some
like,
work.
what the heck?
They need some help, but your website is amazing. So
years years ago, I had somebody help me build it, and then I've been expanding upon it myself ever since. So I'm the one that actually does like the updates on it.
That's awesome.
And the design on it and what to include and all of that. So yeah, I really do a lot of stuff myself because I just got so used to being extorted by different people in the industry. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to teach myself how to do it. And now I pretty much know how to do everything. You know, I pick my own beats. I help make my, like, sprinkle the after effects I want on my beats. I write all my own music. I direct my own music videos. I pick my own outfits. I do my own nails, like everything.
Your nails are amazing, by the way. If you're watching us on Twitch or Rumble or Clout Hub or YouTube or BitChute, which of course I know the BitChute commenters are going to have fun with our guest today and those nails.
Well, this part comes off, so you can, like, the puff comes off, so you can actually, like,
wow.
You know, really wash your hands and everything. It's not unsanitary like people think. It takes a little bit longer to, like, for hygiene stuff, if that makes sense.
Well, it is. You have got quite the presentation.
Thank you.
So that is pretty badass. Go over and check out thesexypsycho.com for more information. So tell me a little bit about your various albums and various music releases.
So, you know, it started many years ago, like my first release, like official release. That's not the first song I ever recorded, but my first official release was over a decade ago. And just from there, you can see the evolution. Like if you ever go to my Spotify and start from the bottom and just work your way up, like you will literally hear my evolution as a person, because I don't make music to be like, oh, I want this to be on the radio or, you know, things like that. I make music about my journey and what I'm going through. So I guess my most recent project, which is Stages of Grief, is really probably the most important and closest thing to me. And that's chronicling the stages of grief I went through when I lost my little sister, who was like my daughter, basically. I was super close to her, and we talked like literally like 5-6 hours a day. She died, and then very shortly after, my adopted dad died, who is was one like the closest person to me, the closest thing I had to a real, you know, father figure. And then my grandpa and aunts, and then my baby daddy died all in a period of 2 months.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it was devastating, and I couldn't do music. I stopped doing music. I stopped talking to everybody. I went into this like split reality stage where I wasn't even myself. It was traumatic. And finally, Kenny was like, you have to write about this. And I flipped out and like broke everything in the house. I'm not kidding you. Like walls, doors. Like I was just so angry and so devastated. Like I had already been through so much. And then right when my life was looking up, all that just waited on me. And the song that actually came out, the first was Drowning. That's featuring Royce da 5'9", then Rage. That features Young Buck. And then Bounce Back, that features Benny the Butcher. And now that's the collective like stages of grief that I went through. So it'll be sadness, anger, and redemption. And then I just dropped Mom Spaghetti, which is a song and video I filmed in front of Eminem's restaurant, Mom Spaghetti in Detroit. So that was a really big deal for me. Just all those things just in general, having those collabs and those cosigns, especially like Royce da 5'9" does not fuck with people. He really doesn't. He doesn't do features. He certainly does not do videos. He certainly does not get in the studio with unsigned artists. And for him to get in the studio and record with me and do that video with me was insane. So just having that, like that caliber of artist on my song that was dedicated to my little sister was like such a big deal for me. And I know it touched a lot of people, which was the biggest part for me.
So is there a story behind your name?
Yes. So Jay Irja is actually my name.
Oh, really?
Yes. So there's the story. But yeah, so Jessica is my first name, but everybody always called me Jay. Like everybody. Like so I grew up being called Jay. And Irja is my middle name, and that's been passed down through my family. I'm Finnish, Finland, and it's been passed down through my family for generations. Even my daughter has that middle name, and it means earth worker and one who changes the world. That's literally what it means. So working the earth, and that can be taken in multiple different ways. I'm a gypsy, Finnish gypsy, which I'm very proud of. It's not what you see on TV, like gypsies on TV. That's not what it is. We're very energy people. We're all about healing and positivity. There's a lot of pieces to it, but we're very in touch with the earth and traveling and things like that. And then the sexy psycho is, I was always at odds. I mean, even if you listen to the beginning of my story, I was always at odds. Like, my family didn't want me to do music, this and that, but I did. My mom wanted me to be a cheerleader. I wanted to be a wrestler. I was always very at odds with my sexuality and the different sides of my personality. I was recently, I've always known I've had PTSD and brain damage, but recently I was diagnosed with multiple personality disorder, which is widely misunderstood also. It's basically you have such trauma that the way that your brain handles it is to fracture off into different people, essentially.
Yeah.
Different personalities. So the sexy psycho is really embracing both sides of my personality, or multiple different sides that can fit in those two categories. And psycho means different or outlandish by society's standards. Sexy means attractive. So meaning it is attractive, it is good to embrace yourself and be yourself regardless of what society says. And that's the sexy psycho in a nutshell, basically.
That's pretty badass. That is pretty
Thank you.
badass. Check out the website, thesexypsycho.com, for more information. So why do you think people are so attracted to your music and so attracted to your stuff?
I think that's a really humbling thing to say because, I feel like no matter what I do, it's not going to be enough, if that makes sense. I'm just that type of person. I think just because I was homeless and I've eaten out of a garbage can and I've just, been abused so excruciatingly throughout my life that when I look in the mirror, that's still the person I see, if that makes sense. And just to even have one person like my stuff is amazing to me. And I mean, maybe that's the reason that people like me. I hope they like me. Some people love me, some people hate me. That's kind of what it is. But I think that's anyone that's actually talented. And I hate to say, oh, I'm talented, but I am. And I am proud of that. I'm not saying it in a braggadocious way. I'm saying it in a I embrace my talents way. But to me, it's humbling to have people gravitate towards my music and to have people, to me, that's just amazing.
You've got some really, really cool stuff going on. What is the plans? Do you have any tours coming up? Anything that we can promote?
Yeah, so I just dropped Mom Spaghetti. So, I mean, that's easy to find. Mom Spaghetti. Just look up Mom Spaghetti diss track. That'll come up. Or go to my website. All my links are on there, as far as YouTube and everything like that. And coming up, I've got some really awesome, different kind of experimental styles of music where I'm really, really exploring, my singing side. I have explored my vulnerable side, but not to the extent that people will be seeing. So I'm pushing the boundaries of my music. I've got a techno type pop radio track coming out. I've got a song called Suicide coming out. Basically, I'm to the point where I was just put in a box for so long, and now that I'm not in a box, I just am excited to explore and have other people explore with me. And I think Jelly Roll is a really good example of that. Jelly Roll does all different types of music. I feel like before him, it wasn't widely accepted.
Yes.
to be able to do that. So it's really fucking cool that he's breaking the molds. And hey, I rap, I sing, I do country, like, and I do all those things too. And I've always felt torn, like I have to choose. And now that he's like opened this door for a lot of artists for it to be, and he's huge, for it to be acceptable to do that. I mean, I've met him multiple times and he's never changed, in my opinion. He's always been cool as fuck. His wife is amazing. And that's like a really big inspiration for being able to open the door for me to explore these different sides of my personality.
That's
without
awesome.
having to choose.
That's awesome. Well, before we let you go, I've got a couple questions. One, the dog. Introduce us to the dog.
Janine. Hey, Bubba. This is Janine. He's my rescue dog. I have 4 rescue dogs. This one's name is Al Pacino Jr.
Al Pacino Jr. That is
Come here, Bubba. Come on.
That is fantastic.
Here he is. He doesn't want to kiss right now. He's being sassy. But I rescued him. I have 4 rescue dogs. Me and Kenny take in rescue dogs. He actually had a PTSD attack and bit me yesterday, but he didn't mean to. Well, he does that. He has nightmares.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it's just the same thing as a human, right? We have to take time with them and understand that if they've been through excruciating things, that they're going to have these issues, these outbursts. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that when it comes to dogs. So that's why when dogs are put in my path, like, okay, this little guy I adopted from a homeless lady because he had a broken femur, his leg was hanging off, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna popsicle stick it together." I'm like, "No!" So I ended up like,
"Oh my god!"
Her. Yes. So I ended up stalking her and bribing her into giving me this fucking dog. He ended up having heartworm. He was really sick, but he's nursed back to health now, thank God. The dog before that was when I was in El Paso running the strip club, and he was at a shelter, and everyone kept returning him. And like I took him in, and he is the best dog, Maximilian Rex. So like, and another one we adopted from a puppy mill, and then Cash Quincy is senior. He's got Cushingtons. So we have rescue dogs, and eventually I want to have my own dog rescue.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, have you ever done like Rocklahoma or like Gathering of the Juggalos or any of these? Because I think you would be perfect for those.
Yeah, I did Gathering of the Juggalos, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, I bet they fucking loved you.
Yeah, it was an experience for sure. People still hit me up like, I still have your bracelet from the Gathering. I mean, this was years ago. Like, and I'm different. Like, I don't wait for people to come up to me. Like, I literally went through over 5,000 little social media stickers at the Gathering. I'm not kidding you.
Wow.
Like, and bracelets, I went through like 3,000. Like, I was giving them to everyone. Hey, here, this way up, this way up, this, here. So that was really cool.
Juggalos love little bracelets and stuff. I've been to a couple of these Gathering of the Juggalos. Yeah. It was smart to take the little bracelets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like something easy. People put it on their wrist and they like forget about it. Then they'll look later like, oh, I wonder who this is. And then they'll look it up. Like we brought a whole like tour bus there, and we
That's
like sat
awesome.
on top of the bus like, hey, and like chucking bracelets at people. Like people remember that. Like people are like, oh, I still remember when you were on top of the tour bus and like throwing bracelets at us. Like that's the difference. Like people don't go and this is just being real, and people are gonna hate me and probably drag me for saying this, but I don't really care. Like artists are lazy these days. They're lazy.
Yes.
They're waiting for somebody else. Like it's amazing to me that people will hit up my manager like, how much are you gonna be paying me to manage me? Like, what? That's not even how it fucking works. Like, Are you insane? Like, you're crazy. Like, I pay for my own stuff. I've had some sponsors along the way, yes, but I have saved money. I have went out and hustled. I have went out and got these sponsors.
Yeah.
I have went out and did all this stuff. Like, okay, yes, I do social media promotion, but that's not enough. I get out in people's faces. Just went to the Vertigo thing, and like, the Vertigo DJ Mixer in Dallas and linked up with people over and over again. Even some people I know, but you got to get in those people's faces. What's the dick? Sometimes it takes people seeing you 10 times to fuck with you. Literally, it's true. So, like, we'll be like, oh, I tried. Can't do it. Like, okay, well, now I know why you're fucking nowhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of these folks that they just don't understand. You got to put the work in.
Yeah. And they're like, well, Lil Nas X wasn't rapping that long. Like, okay, but Lil Nas X, you don't want to see his contract, first of all. And second of all, he blew up off TikTok. Like, yes, there's ways to cut corners, but do you want to keep creative control? Because I guarantee you, he doesn't have creative control of his stuff. People are just looking after it depends on what kind of artist you are. And I'm not knocking anybody. I think he's been a really, really influential artist, but he's manufactured. That's not who he is, which is fine. And you're an entertainer. You're not an artist. There's a difference between an artist and an entertainer, and there's very few people that are both an artist and an entertainer.
You are correct about that.
You cannot be an MC or a true artist if you do not write your music. You can be a dope entertainer, and there's nothing wrong with being a dope entertainer. But you're not an MC and you're not a real artist. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's a distinction. It drives me nuts when people are like, best rapper alive for people that don't write their own music. I'm like, no, it's not possible. You mean Ghost Rapper is the best rapper alive?
I can guarantee you there are a lot of rappers out there that don't know how to read sheet music.
No, they don't. Like, you can put a piece of sheet music in front of me and I can sing it for you.
Yeah.
I can play it on the flute for you. Like, I can do that. I can read sheet music. I can write sheet music. Like, and I'm not saying that makes me better than anyone else, but does it make me more skilled than certain people? Absolutely. And that's part of my problem, too, is like, everyone's like, we're all equal. I'm like, we are, but we're not. We're all equal respect as humans. Well, we do. We all deserve respect as humans, right? But fuck your participation award, okay, buddy? There's no you should not. People like that have no music. They're like, I need to get paid $1,000 because my time is valuable. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not. You have zero resume. Like when people hit me up with no anything, and they're like, oh, do a collab with me off the love, bro. I was like, no. No.
Well, you are amazing. I'm sorry,
it's just reality. It drives me insane. Like, but much respect to everybody who's grinding, and I'm not downing somebody that's just starting. Just know slow your roll and know your role. That's all it is.
That's awesome. Well, you are amazing. Thank you for making some time for us today.
Thank you for having me.
We definitely have to do this again, and the website is amazing. Go over and look at it right now, thesexypsycho.com. Jay, thanks for making some time for us. This has been fun, and I will talk to you soon. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day, my friend.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. There she goes. The amazing Sexy Psycho. The website is thesexypsycho.com. And that wraps it up here from this edition of our big broadcast. We will see you next time.